Hello, sports fans, collectors, live stream enthusiasts, and those who can tear themselves away from the NBA and NHL playoffs. And welcome to our live show for our spring auction closing night. Thank you for joining us. My name is Mike Provenzale. I'm the production manager in Heritage Sports. And over there is the man, the most popular, most bear-huggingest guy in the industry, Mr. Tony Giese. Tony, where are you?
In Pittsburgh for the show in Monroeville this weekend, and it's a great start to the show. A lot of autograph signers, a lot of consigners. We're at the booth today, so great to be in Pittsburgh.
Nice. I'm sure everybody can come out and see you this weekend. We also have Jason Simons is at Courtside Miami Card Show. So if you're out down there in sunny Florida, you can reach out to us there as well. Huge night tonight. Our spring catalog auction session 1 closing tonight. Session 1 is the cards, the sets, the wax, and then tomorrow night will be session 2, the memorabilia, and then Sunday night is session 3, final session with more cards and memorabilia and a little bit of everything. Extended bidding begins at 10 p.m. Central Time tonight, so you have up until then to get your bids in. Then a 30-minute countdown clock will begin at 10 p.m. Central Time for each lot. So what we're going to do tonight is talk about our favorite items, the interesting stories, the highlight pieces in the auction, and maybe some undiscovered gems that are still out there while you have time to bid. And we'll be taking you right up until before extended bidding begins in about 2 hours. But Tony, right off the bat, what are you excited about with this auction?
There's a lot of variety in this auction. We've got, of course, the Michael Jordan jersey, which is an amazing find on a photo match to, I believe, 17 games. It's just unbelievable. A lot of cards. A lot of the current cards are really doing well in this auction. And then memorabilia, game-worn jerseys, photo match jerseys, Type 1 photos, autographs. There's kind of something for everybody in this auction. So a lot of excitement, a lot of really cool pieces that are going to be sold over this next 3 days.
And what I like about the auction is it stretches from the 1880s till 2024. So that pretty much envelops every moment of American sporting history. Every sport and some non-sports is covered. So there's a little bit of something for everyone out there. Of course, you can go to ha.com to get your bids in. Session 1 closing tonight. And of course, I know everyone is here to see one person, our special guest that is going to join us. And we're not going to hide him and make you wait. We're going to bring him out right at the top. It is the most important, the industry's most luminous person, the hobby pope, if you will, Mr. Joe Orlando, our executive vice president. Joe, thank you for joining us.
You know what, Mike? I think I've heard that most luminous line in a rap song somewhere. I'm going to have to go back on my iTunes to figure out which one it is, but I'm just going to announce myself when I go home to my wife and say the most luminous is here as soon as I walk in the door. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Well, if you're looking for it, I'm a Kendrick guy, not a Drake guy, so that'll give you a good place to start. Here at Heritage, we're Team Kendrick, just FYI. So
I'm not commenting because I don't want to get
always topical, always topical. This is live entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, we've got our staff here at our home office in Dallas, our beautiful world headquarters. They're on the phone, they're eating snacks, Rob Rosen, and getting ready for extended bidding to come. They're at your call. If you need to talk to anyone about an item, please reach out to us. But a lot of interesting items, a lot of deep dive stories behind some of these pieces. So let's get right to it. Joe, what's caught your eye?
Well, Tony mentioned it. How can we not begin with that full Michael Jordan uniform?
Oh yeah.
And of course, there are almost no words I can use to accurately describe just how historical and incredible this uniform is. But when this came in and obviously we received the matching results from it, it's all about putting it in context versus other known Jordan examples. And when you do that, you really can make the case, certainly, that it's one of the best, if not the best, that has come to market from the regular season. According to the photo matching experts at both MyGrade and Sports Investors Authentication, this is the first jersey. Of course, it's a full uniform, but it's the first jersey that has been photo matched to any of the first three-peat, any of those seasons.
That really surprised me.
It did too. It
of any Bulls player, even.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but yeah, for Jordan, so you've got that. You've got the fact that it's, of course, the classic road red. I mean, when you think about Jordan, for anyone who had the pleasure of watching him play, that's the uniform you picture him in. I mean, yes, there was the white and some of the variations, the black with the stripes. That's the one that you think of Jordan in. So it's the classic road red. We mentioned the matching. It has tremendous use. What a lot of people, maybe today, younger people today, don't realize is how few jerseys they wore back then. Today, it's like we're so used to watching the games and guys are doing jersey swaps as soon as the game ends, football, basketball, whatever it is. Back then, I mean, generally speaking, they might wear a couple of roads, set one, set two, road and home, but that's about it. So yes, it's been photo matched to 17 games. It is likely worn for more than that, but that's how many it's been matched to so far. So the degree of use, the road red, it's the third championship, basically, culminating in the three-peat. But I think what makes it, even more interesting is, for those of us who were around at the time, unless you were around, you don't realize just how monumental that moment was when he just suddenly decided to retire for the first time. And having that jersey photo matched to the Sports Illustrated cover with the simple caption, "Why?" as he's walking away from the camera, is pretty remarkable. And again, I think almost from an artistic standpoint, just takes this uniform to another level, because again, it may be hard for a 25-year-old today to understand like what a big deal that was then. But Sports Illustrated back in those days, I mean, it was the magazine. Everyone was waiting for the cover, and then suddenly, out of the blue, after winning his third championship, he's like, I'm out of here. And I mean, so just all of it, the whole story. You can't tell the story of Michael Jordan without this jersey. And that's what I love about it. It's just a remarkable piece. And I'm very excited to see how this does tomorrow night.
It's like if Mahomes had retired after the Chiefs' last title the year before last. And he had just said, well, I'm going to go play soccer, guys. It's
right.
hard to imagine, but it's really the capper on that first three-peat, that it's matched to 17 games, and then also that Sports Illustrated that was, one of the big opening salvo media moments of covering him walking away, because the media was.
It is amazing, though. It is amazing that he didn't wear more jerseys. So many people think that he wore. You would have figured even Jordan would have worn more, and to have it for 17 games, that is just so amazing. It's remarkable that he wore it for that long, and potentially more games as well.
And that was arguably his best season statistically when you look at all the statistics across the board, as far as rebounds and assists and blocks and steals. He was just filling it up every night, and especially in those 17 games that it's matched to. There's some real standout performances in there from one of his finest seasons.
Yeah, I think, Mike, you're nailing it. I mean, the difference, I think from the first three-peat to the second three-peat is that in terms of his just sheer explosiveness, like this is Jordan in his prime. And a lot of the higher end jerseys that have made it to the market are from later in his career when he was still obviously an incredible player. But this is Jordan. This is, again, for those of us who grew up watching him, this is Jordan at his very best in this era. And so it's we're so privileged to represent this jersey to the market. But I can't wait for tomorrow night. I think it's going to be really exciting.
And it was one of those great things where it comes in it checks all the boxes as far as authentication, the tagging, the lettering, all that. And then it's the full uniform. And then we submit it for photo matching. And then it's just another layer on top with all those matches. You know, matching a Jordan jersey to one game is great, but 17, and then it comes back and the Sports Illustrated cover. It was just layer upon layer upon layer. So one of the finest Jordans uniforms ever to hit the market. I'm very excited to see where it'll end up tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
All right. What else, Joe? That's a tough act to follow right there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no question about it. So another jersey I'd like to take a quick look at is the 1967 Willie Mays road uniform. The reason I picked this to speak about is, you know, part of what collectors do is look for value. Okay, so this jersey, even though it received an SGC Excellent from the leading authenticator in the country for game-worn uniforms, Dave Grove, which is really the second full tier down from, you know, Superior. They have half, you know, it's not numerical, but they have half points. If this were a Superior, we would be talking about a jersey easily in the $300,000 to $500,000 range. But because the San Francisco was originally stripped, never reused, there's no evidence that it was ever worn by another player or reused by another player. But because that was restored, it was stripped originally, prepared for use, but never employed for additional use. And then the San Francisco was put back on. It goes one step down to Excellent. It's photo matched on top of that. So you get a photo matched jersey, but because it's not the top tier on the authentication, you know, / grading scale, it becomes much more affordable. And, you know, every time we go into this auction cycle, I kind of look through the auction and quite frankly, I look at items that I think are way too cheap. This is one of them. Right now, I think it's sitting right around, like, I think just the hammer is right around the high 40s, something like that. That is way too low for this jersey. If we could zoom in, if there's a way to click on the photo matching LOA where it shows the graphic of how it's photo matched, I'd love to kind of describe that and share that. Yeah, that one right there. When you go to when you look at those images, and especially the ones I believe that are kind of on the right side of that, if we enlarge it and look at it, what's really neat about this photo match is a lot of times when we're photo matching, you know, a jersey, whether it's a Jordan, a Ruth, whatever it is, you're looking at different things, button placement versus lettering, that sort of thing. This match is in the fabric of the jersey, which basically is like a fingerprint. It's tantamount to a fingerprint. It's like the grain on a bat. No two are exactly the same. So even though it's the type of photo match that you have to really zoom in on and look at, it in some ways you could argue it's the best kind of photo match because you can't duplicate it. It's part of the fabric pattern, which again I think just, you know, rises to another level. So I just think this offers a tremendous value. It's a beautiful uniform. It has excellent use. It's from the kind of prime of Mays' career. It's well before he went to the Mets later on and started to kind of deteriorate as a player. So it's a great opportunity for a collector who might not be able to afford a Mays jersey that's, you know, closing in on $500,000. But where it stands right now, again, I'm just going to say it as bluntly as I can. It's way too low. I think it's going to pick up steam, but it's something that I would encourage any collector to look at as a value, because again, if it's just one full tier higher on the SGC scale, we're talking about a much, much more valuable jersey.
And I love that point about how the match is made in the fabric. That's one of those matches that you could show it to Joe Schmo off the street that doesn't know anything about the industry, and he's going to say that's the exact same jersey, the way the pattern lines up. And I love that the match is made to Wrigley. Any collector should get the warm and fuzzies from thinking about Willie Mays playing at Wrigley Field.
No, absolutely. So I looked at that and I said, you know what? It's right now, especially where it stands. And you guys know this, every time we go into an auction cycle, for whatever reason, certain lots get off to a blazing start and then they kind of cool off, and then other ones just slowly build, and then fireworks can happen in extended bid. This is one of those. I looked at where it stands right now. We're still obviously 24 hours away or so from extended bid for memorabilia, but it's something I would encourage any collector to look at for value.
Yeah, and as you said, we've still got time. That's one of those things when it's a top tier athlete, a gamer, the collectors kind of sit and wait and play their games and wait for the last moment. So interested to see where it ends up tomorrow night when we get to extended bidding in session 2. All right, two heavy hitters right out of the bat. Joe, what do you got next?
Yeah, so now we're gonna go. Yeah, I'm sort of all over the place with in terms of value estimate. So the next one is
the audience guessing.
It's a 1934 Gaudi Lou Gehrig. The reason I picked this one, and this is just very straightforward. We've covered this on your show before. Again, you look at this card; it's only quote unquote a PSA 2. But what I love about it, and again, the collecting community has made it, their voices heard loud and clear over the past several years. Eye appeal in lower to mid grades means everything. If you look at this card, you blow it up, it's very uniform. It's very even. Yes, there is the expected corner wear that for a 2. Of course, there's no secret about the corners, but other than that, it is very well centered. It has a very bright appearance. It has excellent eye appeal at the end of the day. It has outstanding eye appeal for the grade. It just offers, I think, a great value, but we're seeing it more and more with each passing auction. Collectors are becoming way more sophisticated, and they are paying for eye appeal in the grade. This is just, I think, a great example of that.
Yeah, and I would think a lot of people that are buying in that grade level have kind of made corners go to the back seat. When we were growing up, that was forefront of what you'd look for. But now if it's nicely centered like that and the colors are bright, they're going to excuse the corners because the main image of it, the biggest area of it, is so pleasing to the eye.
Right. They're moved by the image. They're moved by the color, the picture, and it's just it really has an outstanding image. So the next one I had on my list was a 1939 Gaudi Premiums Ted Williams, and I picked this because I if people ask all the time, we talk about it in the hobby, what are some of the issues that you feel are the most overlooked? Gaudi Premiums to me are near the top of the list, especially this one, because this is the same year as his 1939 Play Ball rookie card. It's a larger format. You could argue that the design is more attractive than the Play Ball image, although they're both kind of, in that black and white area. This one is kind of sepia toned, but it's much, much tougher in terms of just the overall scarcity, not just scarcity in the grade, but overall scarcity. And when you look at this, going back to what we were talking about on the Garri, I believe this is only again, a 3.5. It doesn't look like a 3.5 at arm's length. When you look very close at it, yes, you start looping the corners. The corners, they're certainly fraying at the corners. There's a little bit of edge wear in the upper right, but from an arm's length aesthetic standpoint, it offers a lot of value, a lot of eye appeal value in the grade. But the 39 Gaudi Premiums, I mean, it's not like hobbyists haven't heard of Gaudi before. So it's not a random brand that people aren't familiar with. Again, with the large format tied to, to 1939, I just think it's an interesting option for someone looking for something a little more scarce than his more common Play Ball card.
And a great option for people who are looking for display pieces at that larger size. If you're going to put it on a shelf or your mantle or behind your desk at the office, much larger than a card. So, it's almost a photograph size. So if you're someone who displays your collection, those are very attractive.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there aren't too many cards we can think of because most of them are smaller in size that offer that display sort of value. And that's one of them. In a similar sort of vein, the very next one, the 1959 Cons Wieners Jim Brown, was another one that I kind of picked as a value based on scarcity. And what I love about this card too, now this is not 1958, which is his Topps rookie card. It is 1 year later. However, for those of you familiar with the 1958 Topps, the rookie card, look at the image. It's almost as if during that photo shoot of the 1958 Topps card, that this was either the image right before or right after, if they were doing like a fast click on the on the camera. It's virtually identical in terms of the imagery used for his Topps rookie card, and it's in a larger form. Again, it goes back to it's a slightly larger format, so you get that eye appeal. It is way tougher than his rookie card. Is, again, forget about the grade. This happens to be a very high grade card. It's a PSA 8, but in any grade, it is far tougher to find than his Topps rookie card. I just think it's a really interesting option for the more advanced collector looking for scarcity, looking for value.
Yeah, and Jim Brown, his rookie card, of course, is extremely popular, but you don't hear very often about other issues with him, even though he was the most dominant player during his career. But here's one that is rare, looks like the rookie card with a few notable differences.
Right. You get the facsimile signature kind of above the image, but I've always loved that image, like that image of him just, running towards the camera with that ferocity. I mean, that's Jim Brown. Like, it just really epitomizes who he was as a player. And sometimes a photograph just really, again, it just embodies who the athlete was. I think this image, along with his rookie card image, does exactly that.
Intimidation factor high on this one.
Yes, exactly. So the next one I had on the list was, moving forward a little bit, a 1963 Topps complete set, football set. This one's very, very interesting, very tough. So 1963 Topps baseball, people are familiar with kind of the colored bottom half of the card, the colored borders at the bottom. Well, and for football that year, the whole card had colored borders, made it even tougher. So those who are experienced, football card collectors know just how tough and how sensitive these cards are. The fact that this set has a GPA well over 8, it's the second ranked on the current finest list on the set register, the PSA set registry. It is, if you're looking to build this set in high grade 1 by 1, what I would say to you is good luck. It's going to take you some time to have the opportunity as a collector to get this all in one shot. Is a rare opportunity, again, because this doesn't come around. This set in this quality does not come around very often. And so I wanted to kind of make note of this. I mean, it has, it's all the great stars of the era. We mentioned Jim Brown. It's got Jim Brown, Bart Starr, Johnny Unitas. It's got rookies, Lily Nitschke. It's a tremendous set, very colorful. And again, more importantly, very, very tough.
Really nice Lily and an 8 too. There.
Yeah, I mean the set. I mean, it has. I think it has over a dozen 9s. I think something like 15 PSA 9s. I think it has 1 or 2 10s, if I recall correctly. But the entire set is just so well balanced, so high quality. If you're looking, if this is a set you were thinking about building, getting, whatever it is, this is, again, one of those rare opportunities. I would take advantage of it.
Yeah, and we've had some really great sets over the last year, a lot that are in the top 10 in the PSA registry. But what I like is we've had a lot of variation as far as the sports and the years for these high-grade sets. And we haven't had a high-grade example of this in a while. So I expect some people are going to be interested in owning it this evening.
Yeah, a lot of people are familiar with the 62s, the black bordered set, and how tough they are, but the 63s are surprisingly tough. I mean, like, people know they're tough, but they may not appreciate just how tough it is. So it'll be interesting to see where this ends up.
Agreed, 100%.
So the next one I had on the list, jumping ahead a few decades, is this 2000 Upper Deck Master Collection mystery pack inserts Kobe Bryant card. It's really interesting. So we have the set. So there's this box set. It's a very high-end looking, kind of wooden box that comes with about, it's 24 other cards. We have the rest of the set in the auction. That's available. This was included in a pack. It was this mystery pack that was included with this limited edition set. And of course, lo and behold, this consigner opens it and it has this Kobe 1 of 1. And what I love about this is, again, there were limited edition cards that started springing up in the 1990s, certainly in basketball. We all know about how Jordan is connected to many of those cards that are super popular today. But this is still early in that process. Nowadays, of course, everyone's very familiar with, 1 of 1s, 1 of 10s, 1 of 100s, but this is still relatively early in that process at the manufacturing level. And it's also right in the heart of that three-peat that, Shaq and Kobe kind of put together with the Lakers. So just the period that it's from, it's Kobe, it's early Kobe. It's an early 1 of 1, hand numbered, of course, right on the front, and it's a 10. I mean, so I expect fireworks on this one. We've had a lot of early interest on this card, but it's a really neat story how they included these in these sets. And this our lucky consigner, this was the card that was in that mystery pack, which is really neat.
And I love the mystery tied to it. You're going to be hard pressed to find a Kobe card that everyone hasn't seen 1,000 times, but this is one of those. I had never seen this before, and a lot of people that when we posted on social have said the same, that this is one that is just not out there. It's not featured. You're not going to see it at a show. So a real select opportunity for the bidders this evening.
Right. It's quite literally a 1 of 1. I mean, it is that's and like you said, I mean, it's the first time it's been brought to public market.
Yeah, I've had my eyes on that for a while. I had never even heard of that before it came in.
Yeah, it's a wild card. Shall we keep going, or do you want to? I just want to make a pause there.
Keep going. Let's keep going.
All right. Next one.
Joe.
Al Kaline. So, in the world of game-used bat collecting, there are some players that are sort of inexplicably difficult. Al Kaline is one of those players. And when you look at his career, I mean, he played forever. He had a very, very long career, starting in the mid-50s all the way through the mid-70s. So, 20-ish year career. So you're wondering, how can that be? Why are his bats so difficult? I don't have the answer to that. I just know that they are. And so the reason we pointed this one out is, yes, it is towards the end of his career, but from a visual appeal standpoint, I think you would be hard pressed to find a better Al Kaline bat from any year, from any period than this one. It is absolutely awesome looking in person. It looks incredible online, but it's even better looking in person. So like a lot of players that played from the 50s and the 60s into the 70s, like Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Al Kaline wasn't a big pine tar user early in his career, but later in his career, he started to employ it more and more, and certainly in the 1970s. And this just happens to be one that he did that with, and it is just caked in pine tar, which gives it immense eye appeal. It has tremendous use. The grain, the wood itself is just absolutely beautiful. It's got a very bold, 6 on the knob for his uniform number. It's just a gorgeous bat. So again, when you're thinking about the scarcity and context that Kaline bats are generally difficult, to have one that is this eye appealing is just a rare opportunity. So this is another lot that has received a lot of early interest. But you can see why if you have a chance to look at it online. If you're lucky like us and you get a chance to see it in person, it is just a beautiful gamer.
And speaking to the rarity, we sold the Al Kaline collection a few years ago, which was consigned by his family, and there was one game-used bat in this whole collection. He only had one.
Yeah, I think he gave a lot of it away, and for some reason he just didn't keep a lot of his bats. He kept gloves, he kept autographed baseballs, that kind of thing. But game-used bats, just very, very few of them are out there. That's a great example of one.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. So the next one I had on the list was a George Brett bat. And this is another example of something that I saw and I said, you know what, this is it offers value, much like, we talked about the Willie Mays jersey earlier. So this bat, if we can go to, you can see the front. So it is the classic, heavily used, beautiful George Brett gamer. The tar in the right spots. It has an autograph, tremendous use, everything that you'd want on a Brett gamer. If you go to the full length shot of the back of the entire bat, the full length one, and blow that up and zero in on the handle, you can see that there's a missing piece of tar there, where the tar is sort of extending from the knob up the handle, and then there's a sort of a bare area. So this is how the story goes. This bat was on display at a restaurant for years, and when they put it on display, the tar came just off the back of the handle when they had it sitting up, propped up in this display. So this is basically the bat in a nutshell. It's a 10, but because it has that little, patch missing from the tar on the back, it was graded a 9. So for someone who doesn't want to spend, let's say 25,000 on a George Brett 10 that looks just like this on the front, if you're displaying it on a wall or on a bat rack and you're looking at the face of the bat, it has the display features of a 10, but it has that technical flaw on the back because of how it was displayed at the restaurant. It lowers the grade to a 9. So again, when I look at this bat, I say, you know what, for someone who may not have that in the budget, it's a great opportunity and a great option.
And one cool note about it being displayed in a restaurant, think about how many thousands of people looked at this bat. So it has that. And then I also love that, the pine tar, the MLB rule says it can only be 18 inches from the knob. And this one, it's 22 inches.
Billy Martin would be proud, wouldn't he?
So perfect. So perfect.
Are you throwing George Brett under the bus?
I mean, you got to get a competitive advantage where you can.
How that? Yeah, I've always thought how that is a competitive advantage. I don't know, but it just.
He just knew from experience. No umpire's got a tape measure on them out there. So if you're within a few inches, you're going to be fine.
That's right. It looks fine. The next bat I had on the list was this 2001 Albert Pujols bat. I noted this one. Albert Pujols, in a way, he reminds me a lot of Miguel Cabrera in that when those guys were in their prime, I mean, Albert Pujols, of course, nicknamed the Machine. I mean, he really was a machine. And what happens to a lot of, athletes, we all talk about it, we all know it. They get older and people forget just how good they were in their prime. And so I looked at this bat. I had a chance to look at it in person. It's beautiful. I think one of the coolest features about the bat, if you can zoom in on the shot of the back barrel where it's just the barrel, not the full length of the bat, but just the back barrel. If you have that, if not, we'll go to the full length and just zoom in. But on the back barrel, yeah, there you go. If you could zoom in just on the barrel, what's really neat about this bat is you can see just all the different colors of rack marks. And what that means is that this bat traveled. And when you look at the steam impressions on in the hitting zone, I mean, it has a tremendous amount of use, but you can see all the different colors. That means it was in a lot of different bat racks as Poolhol, carried it around the league. It just has a very just cool, again, visual appeal in person. And I think from a really advanced sort of bat collector's perspective, those are the kinds of little things that you love to see especially on a modern era gamer. It just has all of these little details that make it special. So to have this bat tied to his, rookie season, with the amount of use, with all of those bat rack marks that just cover the back of the barrel, long term, I just think that this is a great opportunity for a collector, because as his career went on, you started to see a lot more bats as he became a superstar. There, you can find Albert Pujols bats from later in his career. They're out there. There's a lot more of those in the marketplace, but ones that connect to the beginning of his career, much tougher to find. And this one is just as they say, kind of a picture perfect example for the collector.
You can just imagine him taking that to all those NL ballparks and ruining the fans' evenings with this bat, their night at the ballpark.
Yeah, no, it's just outstanding in a lot of different respects. So I think, again, people forget, of course, when he's up for the Hall of Fame, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But as those veterans get older, it's like, again, people have whatever short memories, but they'll remember, when it comes time for, the Hall of Fame voting, they'll remember just how awesome he was. I did like, though, that at the very end of his career, he had that if you guys remember, that incredible burst. Yes. With the Dodgers. And it was very neat to see, because he kind of found that again, and the fans just ate it up. It was really cool to see that. It doesn't happen for many of the greats. We were talking about, Willie Mays earlier, a great example of the opposite. And it's sad to see them when they're a shell of themselves. Pujols reminded us at the very end who he was, which was great.
Yeah, agreed.
So the next bat I had on here is this Freddie Freeman bat. And I simply picked this for a couple of reasons. Freddie Freeman has been one of those players. He kind of reminds me of a modern day Eddie Murray, in that he's just sort of consistently like, I don't want to say under the radar, because he's a perennial all-star and such a great player, but he just kind of goes out there every year. He puts up great numbers, and you kind of, you wake up and you say, wow, this guy's an easy future Hall of Famer. Then last year, which this bat ties to, he has the most memorable moment of his career, which I'm sure could never be duplicated in the World Series against the New York Yankees. And while this is not that bat, it's a bat that led up to his most memorable moment. So it's from his most memorable season, World Championship, photo match to multiple games in the postseason. It really is, again, when we look, you look forward 10 years, 20 years. If you look back, it has to be one of the best Freddie Freeman bats you could think of. Like, if you had to come up with what would you dream up in a scenario as a bat collector for Freddie Freeman? I mean, you would want something from this past season. So I think just for that reason, I kind of noted this and wanted to highlight it, because Freddie Freeman, again, just slowly but surely is putting together a wonderful Hall of Fame career.
And a great point that last year was just a magical year for the Dodgers all around. Yeah. So having anything that ties to that season raises it a level.
That's right. And so, again, I think he's done it in a more, we were talking about Poolhol, where he just came out of the gate and just blew people away. Freddie Freeman is just slow and steady, Eddie Murray type, just steady, consistent. And all of a sudden you look up and say, wow, and of course he's crushing it again this year. So he's, and by the way, on top of everything else, which I should, make note of as well, is that what a well-liked player. I mean, by his teammates, by fans, great reputation, just on top of everything else that he is, Freddie Freeman is, one of those fan favorites.
And great baseball name too.
Yeah.
Kind of rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, so speaking of magical, the next thing I had on my list was this 1986 World Series Last Out Baseball from the Garri Carter collection. I picked this out. This is nostalgia for me. Now, I'm not a Mets fan and I'm not a Red Sox fan, but I am a baseball fan. And I can tell you, when I watched this World Series, this made me love baseball even more. It made me want to play it even more. Obviously, Game 6 is the one that gets all the attention because of that incredible 2-out comeback by the Mets that gave them the opportunity to close it out in Game 7. But what an amazing World Series. I'll never forget it, as a baseball fan, and coming right from Garri Carter himself, right from the Garri Carter collection. And I can still, visualize it like it was yesterday, where Orozco slings around and strikes, gets the strikeout and tosses, the glove in the air, and that was it. I mean, it's one of the most memorable images and moments that I can remember from that decade. And so I wanted to note it simply for that reason, from a nostalgia standpoint.
And talking about popular players with the fans, Garri Carter is one like that. When we sold his collection, it was just an outpouring of love for his career and who he was. And then to have, obviously this meant a lot to him. Oh, there it is right there. But, obviously for him to keep it, it was something that meant a lot to him, and you're getting it from his collection. Whoever wins it, it's going to have a special place in their collection.
That's right. I mean, this is something that, it gets overused when we say, that thing should be in the Hall of Fame. This is one of those historical pieces that, whether it's in a Mets Hall of Fame or in the Baseball Hall of Fame itself, what a great piece of memorabilia, what a historical item to have and be able to bring home. If I'm a Mets fan, I don't know how I could stop myself from bidding on this, because that was just, again, you used the word magical earlier last year, talking about the Dodgers. That Mets Red Sox World Series was just incredible. It was magical, and I'll never forget it as a much younger man.
And that's one that even people who weren't alive when that World Series happened know all about it. It's just one that's etched in baseball history, a lot because it's New York related. But, it's one that everybody knows the story to, whether you watched it or not.
That's right.
There were just so many twists and turns in that series, though, too. I mean, the ebbs and the flows of that series were just unbelievable. As a 10-year-old, it was just crazy watching that and how everything happened. And
there it is. That's it right there.
There it is.
You see on the screen. There he is. That's
Marty Barrett. Poor Marty Barrett.
Yeah, poor Marty. That's right.
And also Carter held on to it through that whole celebration. So he knew how important it was.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that team was just what a team, like, full of characters. The 86 Mets, just an unbelievable array of great players, but just it had a lot of personality. It wasn't a boring team by any means. A lot of personality, a lot of fire, a lot of competitive kind of spirit. But that's one of those special teams that will always go down in baseball history.
Oh, great piece.
So I only got a couple left if we want to get through them.
Let's do it.
You want to do it? So the next one is a photo. It's a signed photo. This is another one that I kind of looked at, over the past couple of days. I said, I have a feeling this one's going to get legs, an extended bid tomorrow, considering where it's at. So not only is this a type 1 and an oversized type 1. I mean, this is a full-size, photo. It's not one of most of Burke's images are smaller. This is one of the rare full-sized ones. What's amazing about this, number one, is that this image, of course, ties to his 1940 play ball and his 1941 play ball cards. 41 play ball Williams is one of my favorite Williams cards of all time. But the autograph, it's a vintage autograph, and it's not personalized. And it's very legible. It's a beautiful autograph, and I think it's dated 1940, if I recall correctly. But it is, the combination of the vintage autograph and inscription from Williams, the fact that it's tied to two very popular play ball cards, that it's a full-sized Burke. It's an awesome piece, and it's in wonderful condition. It presents really well. I have a feeling this one's not going to stay put where it's at, but I wanted to also, note this one for those looking for that. I know a lot of photo collectors love that connection. If you can connect photos with cards, especially popular ones, but the fact that this one is signed as well and it's period signed is just really remarkable.
Yeah, it's checking all the boxes there with the period autograph as well. And we'd be remiss if we didn't say there's a 41 play ball Ted Williams card closing tonight. So if you're thinking about this one, you need that one in the display as well. I think it's a PSA 4.5. But yeah, and just an incredible Burke image of Ted Williams. Just, if you knew nothing about the card, just the aesthetics of it, beautiful image.
Yeah, he's the kid, in this photo. He's the kid, and it's just it's great. It's just a great overall piece. And again, from where it's sitting, we've sold photos well into seven figures, multiples. I mean, sorry, six figures. I apologize.
I was going to say, please share.
No, six figures. I need another coffee. I think I've had 10 of them today, but I need another one. But it's where it's sitting, considering, again, all of those boxes that it checks. I think it offers tremendous value.
Oh, yeah. I love that one.
Last but not least, the last one I had on my list. We're going outside of sports now, but into non-sports for one of the most classic and iconic issues of all time. If you were making a little, Mount Rushmore of non-sports cards, I would personally probably put the number one Curly card from the Three Stooges set on that Mount Rushmore. It is, as you guys know, I mean, the set is so popular. The Three Stooges are timeless. But what's so neat about this set, not only is it beautiful, it's an outstanding overall condition and high grade. This collector, our consignor, he went a step further. It's not just the basic set. He started to collect a lot of the color variations. So I believe there's another, I think it's 40 or so color variations on top of the basic set. So there's a lot of baked in value to this lot. And I would encourage people to kind of take a hard look at it and look at the breakdown of the entire set. But really, again, I mean, in the realm of non-sports, it's hard to beat, in terms of popularity, the Three Stooges set from 1959.
Yeah, and the Three Stooges really are encapsulated in a certain era of comedy, and as we get further away from that, I think it has more appeal. But it's something, even if you've never watched their shows or their movies, you know who they are, their little eccentricities. So a really timeless set of comedy heroes.
That's right. No, I mean, there are certain issues, again, non-sports. The neat thing about the entire genre is that there's something for everybody. I mean, there's historical, there's comic book heroes, there's TV stars, movie, everything. But again, I don't care if it's 5 years from now, 20 years from now, this set will always be in the conversation for, one of the most popular non-sports issues ever released. And again, this is not just the basic set. This is the basic set plus a lot of hard work by the consignor to start adding color variations to the set. So again, a lot of value here to unpack, but I encourage, prospective bidders to go to the lot page, look at the breakdown. It's a great lot.
And as in the last few years, since our industry has kind of been expanding and more people have been coming in or coming back in, it's kind of blurred the lines between that distinction of, oh, that's non-sports and this is sports. People just kind of look at it as, well, it's cards, so it's in the industry. And, same with the trading card games and things like that. It's just, it's a collectible and it's a card. People don't eschew it the way they might have in the past about, oh, well, that isn't sports related, so I'm not interested.
That's right. Most of the guys I know that collect non-sports have a foundation in sports, but they love collecting cards. Like you said, it's part of their wiring. And the neat thing about non-sports, including the Three Stooges, is that these are the types of things that connect all of us, whether we're at a barbecue or a party or whatever, and you're talking to your neighbor, movies, TV, I mean, historical events. That's what's so neat about that category.
Yeah, the first set I ever collected was a 91 Marvel set. So I started in the non-sports and then moved over to sports. But we have a trading card games department, and our clients have huge crossover between the two departments. And there's a lot of great non-sports material in this auction closing tonight and also in the next 2 nights. So if you're interested, be sure to check that out. I guarantee you're going to find something that interests you. So once again, Joe, amazing insight, amazing knowledge. That's why you're the most luminous in the industry. We really appreciate your time. I know clients are waiting for you to talk to them and share that knowledge with them, but thank you for taking the time to join the show tonight.
No, it's always great, guys. I appreciate it. Good luck with the rest of the show, and thanks to all the bidders out there.
Yeah, good luck to the bidders. So, Tony, let's take a look at the big board, and then we'll take a quick break and come right back. But what do we got going on the recent bid screen?
I got to tell you, Joe had a lot of things that he covered there, a lot of different things. even Three Stooges. That was pretty impressive, I got to tell you.
If there was a fourth Stooge at Heritage, Tony, I think you are the prime candidate.
Oh my God! Should I be honored or should I?
Well, they're just
Mad?
beloved.
I don't even know.
And that's your spot in the
Right now, let's see. Kevin Durant signed jersey rookie exquisite. 30,000 just came in.
Great card.
Who knows? He's got some more years left in him. 86 Fleer basketball high grade set 10,000. 56 tops George Blanda gem mint 10 pop 7 2,500. Let's see.
A lot of action.
Of course, on the cards as people are getting their last bids in. Oh, signed 1982 Hulk Hogan, Series A PSA 10 auto 1,900. Star original photo 180. So
you've still got a little over an hour before extended bidding begins in session 1. Session 2 and 3, you can keep bidding all night if you'd like. But we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about some highlights in the auction. Tony, did you know we have a movie poster department at Heritage?
Oh, I know our movie poster department. Zach Pogemiller does a heck of a job, and we've actually done shows and consignment trips together. So
nice.
Very well run category.
Let's take a look.
Charles Epting, Associate Director of Posters at Heritage Auctions. We're thrilled to present Part 2 of Unearthly Wonders, the Larry K. Springer Collection. Following the tremendous success of Part 1 last month, which attracted bidders from around the world, we're now offering over 650 additional science fiction and horror movie posters spanning the 1930s to the 1980s. From Universal's iconic monsters to mid-century creature features, and even some latter-day classics, the Springer Collection stands as one of the most comprehensive ever assembled, and you can explore it now at ha.com, sale number 42182. A few highlights include an original one-sheet for The Mummy's Tomb, the third film in the classic Universal Mummy franchise, Albert Callis's timeless depiction of an alien abduction for the Invasion of the Saucermen one-sheet, an insert poster for The Day the Earth Stood Still, autographed by director Robert Wise, a Style A half-sheet for 1954's classic The Creature from the Black Lagoon, reissue inserts from such legendary titles as Dracula, The Mummy, and Werewolf of London, and an insert and Style B half-sheet from Godzilla's American debut in 1956. Horror and sci-fi cinema fans won't want to miss this incredible auction featuring rare and iconic movie posters from genre-defining classics. From chilling screams to mind-bending cosmic journeys, alien invaders to monsters born of science gone wrong, each poster is a stunning piece of cinematic history. Visit ha.com for your chance to own the artwork that once lit up theater lobbies and fueled imaginations.
That's some real history right there, movie history. I love going into that department and taking a look around. It's like going into another world.
Such good graphics on those posters so many times. They're just so unique. They scream of the time that they were issued. And I was at one and I saw it was Return of the Jedi, but it was like Revenge of the Jedi, I think is how they had it termed, and it's a short print and everything. Yeah, movie posters, great category at Heritage Auctions.
Yeah, and while we're here,
oh my goodness, look at this! What's going on here?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Quick update here. I turned the game off, guys. I promise. I turned the game off to focus on this. My Knicks should have taken care of business on Wednesday, so I wouldn't have had to sweat it tonight. But we've got session 1 closing tonight. Extended bidding begins in 66 minutes. So let's talk about some cards. And I love this one. Let's see, 1980 tops, Larry Bird, Dr. J, Magic Johnson, scoring leaders, PSA Gem Mint 10. Gorgeous example. Now, this is a card you see pretty often, not in this grade, but a really popular card. You see it come up in auctions, and it shows, and in people's collection. One of the most popular basketball cards. But in a 10, it is unbelievable to see in person. Tony, I know you love this one.
Yeah, it's such an iconic card, and it was kind of Topps getting, really getting the big names of the time, the Magic Bird rookie, and of course having Dr. J in the middle. The thing with this card, I mean, centering we always talk about is difficult, but the biggest problem, there's print dots on this card, and there's like a snowing effect on the Larry Bird image a lot of times. And it didn't matter. So many of them have it, ones that were taken out of packs, and this card is incredibly difficult to find in high grade. And with the print dots and the snow effect on the bird, it just makes it one of the most important basketball cards regardless. But to have a Gem Mint 10, there's only very, very few known. Getting a 9 on this card is amazing, but a 10, so difficult. And it's, these guys saved the league. Yes. And when they needed it the most, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson changed everything.
PSA has graded over 16,000 examples of this card, which is a huge number. This is one of just 24 in Gem Mint 10. So a real rarity, and you rarely ever see them hit the market, the 10s. This is one that if you have a 10, people really hold on to it. So an exciting opportunity for bidders tonight. And then love this next one. This is one that we already had a record price for weeks ago. So it's the 1998 Skybox Essential Credentials Now Ken Griffey Jr. It's his best card. That's kind of the consensus around the hobby. There's only 10. This is numbered to number 4. Mint 9, Pop 2, none superior, but there had never been a 6-figure Ken Griffey Jr. card. And this one, the bid is currently at $210,000. So earlier this year, we had the Allen Iverson card smash the record for an Iverson card, getting to $700,000. There had also never been an Iverson 6-figure card until that one. We're kind of looking at the same thing here with Griffey, such an immensely popular player, especially with our generation, Tony, and the ones after. But yeah, smashing the record for a Griffey card. So we just get to see how far it goes tonight. But bidders are really excited. It's been 20 years since one of these Griffey cards has come up for auction. So
yeah, I mean, it's amazing in itself. I mean, we go back to the Allen Iverson card. That card, I believe, had a $200,000 estimate, and it just went way past that to 700. I think it was 711. It was what it went for. And this one too, Griffey Jr. I mean, he's one of the guys. No steroid accusations, and any of that. And he's the guy of our generation of the 80s and 90s who just, I mean, he had the best swing, great fielder. He could do everything. And having his best card, and this one's going to go to the moon, I think. It really, truly is. It's a great looking card as well. I mean, you got the full swing. You got the great colors behind it. Limited, so limited. This has got all the ingredients of a big winner for us, I think.
Yeah, we'll find out later tonight. So, Tony, what do you got on your list?
Oh, what do we got here? We talked about a couple of the other ones before, but where are we starting?
How about that signed Clemente?
Yes, the 1955 Topps signed Roberto Clemente card. Again, we always talk about these, how back in the day, people, got index cards, scorecards signed, getting his actual rookie card signed. Very few people did. This one, it just amazes me of what it's done. Years ago, this was a $20,000 card, $30,000 card. Now it's a $100,000 card. There's not very many of these out there. Clemente moves the radar. I mean, I'm in Pittsburgh this weekend, and people bring him up all the time. He was good for autograph seekers, but people didn't think of getting his rookie card signed. Back then, you were defacing a card if you got it signed. And this one here, dead smack right in the middle. A very nice example of his rookie card signed. And I think this one's really going to do well.
Yeah, we've only seen a handful. So they rarely come up as well. this one's just beautiful. And I think, Clemente was always popular, of course, with the people who watched him play. But he's really seen a resurgence in the last 15 years from these younger generations who have really come to appreciate not just what he did on the field, but I think what he did off the field is a big aspect of it. A real trailblazer in many different ways. And, has only increased in popularity. So when you find one of these niche, small parts of the hobby, the signed rookie cards, you really see some fireworks from bidders when they come up for auction.
Yeah, I mean, the number 42 is never going to be worn again. I could see the day where number 21 gets retired. People have talked about in the last 5 years. That wouldn't shock me in the least if his number gets retired by MLB. And again, it's a beautiful card in itself, and having that autograph on it takes it to a next level. And of course, there's been an explosion of rookie cards signed, and people are really trying to find these, and there's just not very many out there. So there's only a handful known, and this is a very nice example of one.
Yeah, let's talk some memorabilia, Tony. You got any? There we go.
Yeah, these came in a few months back, and from a guy who was collecting well before people were collecting game use sneakers and game use memorabilia. This one here, it's got the promo sample designation on the inside. Really nice wear. Air Jordan 1s. Kind of has everything that you could want. Shows good use. There's the type promo sample, the 13 and a half. You got the 85. It's got all the everything as far as the Air Jordan 1s that you could really want. Shows use. These, I think, are really going to explode tomorrow. And you've got the nice vintage signature with the best wishes. So, these weren't signed in the last 5 years. These were signed back in 1984, 85 when he was a rookie. So you got the rookie autograph, good use, classic design, the Air Jordan 1s. I think these are really going to be primed to do quite well tomorrow night.
Yeah, and a really amazing collection that's featured in this auction. Footwear from all sports, a lot of game used material. And as you said, he was collecting them very early in the 70s and 80s. So
I have a feeling we're going to have more of his stuff. I can give you a little inside scoop. I think we're going to have some more of this material coming up in the not so distant future.
Oh, glad to hear. Well, Tony, I'm going to take a second and go way back to the...
How far back is way back? Oh, boy, you're going... Okay.
Genesis of our industry. So we have a collection, a really remarkable one, of 1800s tobacco banners, the ad signs for the early tobacco sets. A massive collection with, I believe, 40 plus that we've spread out. We had some in the last auction, and we've got 4 in this auction. And how we were talking about with Joe, the non-sports industry, this is the genesis of the non-sports hobby also. So this first one is the Kinney Brothers Naval Vessels of the World advertising banner. And the thing about this collection is the condition is sublime. When it first came in, I just thought these can't be real. They look brand new, but we did our due diligence. They are real. They are from well over 100 years ago. And, the artwork, the lithography, you can look at the next one, Tommy, is the flags of all nations. So these were advertising the sets that were in the tobacco. They'd feature all the cards from the sets. So you could, while you were there, see what you were trying to collect. It was kind of like an early checklist when you'd go into your tobacco shop, but just beautiful artwork. And then, of course, if you got the flags of all nations, the next one is the flags of the states and territories tobacco set. This one is my favorite, really well designed. The 19th century art director who put this one together, kudos to them. So you have all the states that were states at that point, 41 states. And then along the left side of it, you have the territories that would become states afterwards. So a little bit of history in there as well, Tony, but so early. And these are the type of items that you hang them on your wall And whether people know what they are or not, their eye is going to be drawn to them, and they're going to say, what is that? Tell me its story. So real great brag-worthy piece. And then the last one is the Allen and Ginter Richmond Straight Cut Cigarettes oval metal store sign with old planters. Let's zoom in on that, Tommy. Love this character here.
Absolutely. Look at that hair.
Yeah, so great hair, great graphics. Look at the detail on it, the shading, the coloring. This is a very early tobacco ad, and man, it's just overflowing with aesthetics. So we've got 4 great examples in this auction. We've got some more coming up in the future auction, but the through line through all of these is the condition that they're in is just unbelievable.
And the thing with the advertisement, made in very small quantities, they weren't intended to be kept. They almost always got thrown away. People didn't keep this. They would throw it away and put the next thing up. And the graphics on these it's just amazing. And the condition is also so nice on these. But the graphics, the advertisement, again, made in small quantities, very few are still around, and this being as old as it is, just very high quality, just really jumps out at you, and you could put that in your man cave. It really displays well, and I love this type of material.
Back then in that era, you talk about being discarded. A lot of them were discarded, but also a lot of them would be reused as packing material or, because it was a nice firm backing. So they'd find some way to level a shelf or something like that. So there was just a million reasons why these would not survive, but for them to survive in this condition, every time I see it, I just can't believe it. Yeah. And speaking of something that survived in condition, if you've watched this show before, I love the Cracker Jack sets and this 1914 Honus Wagner Cracker Jack. So it's a PSA 5, which anyone who collects Cracker Jacks know that's high. Pop 2 only 3 higher, because these were right there in the box with the Cracker Jacks. So that sweet molasses caramel really all over these cards, but very, very few escaped the pitfalls of that. But this one did. And what I love about this one is that red background is really blazing when you see it in person. And you've got Wagner. So what more need you say about this? Look at that artistry on there, Tony.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I'll say this. We had this set on display at a show we did in the Dallas area. And when you see that entire set like that, how beautiful it is, it's just amazing. The colors just jump out, the reds, the blues, everything. It just really, really jumps out at you. It's an amazing set. It's a historic set. And it's one, when you see them all as one, it is really amazing. And it's Honus Wagner, of course, one of the biggest names of that time and in baseball history. And to find anything like that in higher grade is extremely difficult, because you're right. There's a lot of issues with, substances getting on those cards, and just, there's a lot of pitfalls on these. And that's a gorgeous, gorgeous card of course, Honus Wagner.
Yeah. And if you zoom in on that, Tommy, I love to talk about how times were hard back then and people looked a lot older than they actually were. And on the Cracker Jacks, you can really see that.
He was 27, right?
Right. 27 years old. He looks like he's nearing 50. But you can tell, like, the ears, the lines on his face. It's just amazing that for something that they were going to throw in a box of candy, they would put that much time and effort into the artistry of it. But a beautiful set. And this is one of the finest Wagners that's out there.
Yeah. Stunning.
All right, Tony, you're up. Let's talk some basketball.
All right, 1961 Fleer. And every time I see these, they're off center. I've seen, ones, I think there were some of these that must have been found, because we see some with great corners, but you never find these cards centered. It is so difficult. And you've got Jerry West, the logo with that great Los Angeles Lakers emblem on the top in the yellow. A young Jerry West. And this one here, with only 3 higher, 50,000 right now. This is his rookie card, and Jerry West had quite a career as a player, as an executive, and he worked very late in life in basketball and really was respected by many generations. I mean, he got Shaq and Kobe together, and then he went and worked for the Grizzlies. I mean, he did, of course, he was with the Lakers forever. Just an iconic figure, but this card is so difficult to find in high grade. It's almost a given that they're going to be off center, but this one is just, dead centered, outstanding graphics, great image of a young Jerry West. And this one really, really stood out to me as one that I thought was just a remarkable card, of a tough card to find in high grade.
And with those 61 Fleer with the colorful backgrounds, when you get one in hand that has the top tier grade, you can really see those colors coming through. And this is one of those with that orange and yellow, almost hurt the retina when you look at them in a good way.
Yeah, it's just a stunning, stunning card. And again, Jerry West, he was such a popular figure, an important figure in basketball history. And he had such a long career, not just as a player, but as an executive. He coached, he did everything. And he was on Winning Time too. So
I don't know if he would have been that pleased with
the picture. Would not have been very pleased if I was him on that, but we'll talk about that at a different time, I guess.
Do we have any signed cards in the auction, Tony?
This one, for guys our age, this one's always going to stand out to me. And it's not just having this card, the Gem Mint 10 grade for the autograph. This card, to get the Gem Mint 10 grade overall, is what takes it over the top. As a kid growing up in the 80s and 90s, Barry Sanders was just different level. I've never seen anything like him. I didn't see Gale Sayers. Of course, I didn't get to see Jim Brown. But in my generation, he was the top one. And just this card, it's not hard to, it's not incredibly hard to get a Gem Mint 10 autograph. But to get the Gem Mint 10 autograph and the card grade overall is remarkable, is tough. And this one really has a big spot in my heart, at least, because he was fun to watch. And I still haven't seen anything like him.
Yeah, the second best running back of all time, says the Cowboys.
Absolutely, behind Emmitt Smith.
Just look at the stats. That's all you got to do.
I was waiting for that. You better have said that, or I would have been disappointed in you.
No, but I love that set. It also has my favorite card, the Troy Aikman rookie, in there.
Aikman, Michael Irvin. Tony Mandrich. There's quite a few good ones in that set.
So let's keep talking about signed cards. This one caught my eye. It's the Hank Aaron rookie, the 54 tops signed. And as these signed cards have become more popular, there's kind of a premium on some good inscriptions. And this one has those good inscriptions. Yeah, there we go, right there. So you've got career hits, career home runs. I love that he added career hits, because it seems to me Hank Aaron was like, yeah, you know about the home runs, but I'm in the 3,000 club by a mile as well. So he included that. Love that. And the 9 autograph from Beckett for the auto and the inscriptions. And then this next one is a really unique sign card. I know people of our generation remember it.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
1990 Topps USA, George Bush. So it has the photo when he played at Yale. There's also a famous photo of him meeting Babe Ruth when he was playing at Yale. So it's got that, and everyone remembers that set. But what a lot of people don't know is that Topps made a special group of this card, just 100. It's called the White House issue, which you can see is on the label as well. And the only real difference is that it has a thicker coating, but those 100 were given to President Bush. And in order for you to get that White House issue on the label, it has to have the coating and it has to have White House provenance. So this one comes from the son of a Bush-era White House administration member. So it had the provenance, it has the thick coating, it's one of just 100, and then it's autographed by President Bush as well. So surely this guy was a baseball fan. The cards came in for Bush. He was smart enough to say, hey, can I have one of those? and got him to sign it. Nice autograph from the president. So this is one of just 2 examples of the White House issue signed in the PSA population. And I have to imagine that's going to be it. You know, President Bush has passed. I feel like if there was more of these signed ones out there, they would be in some population report. So a real rarity. And you just have to love the commanders in chiefs that are sports fans. Anyone who's a sports fan feels a special tie to any president that's a sports fan. And President Bush and his son can definitely be counted in that group. So a really unique one. I'd never seen one of these one like this before, but I think this is one that's going to have some fireworks tonight.
Yeah, and this is a card, I think it was USA Today reported there were just a few of these out there when I was growing up. And, you know, in the 90s, they call it the junk wax era. This was a card you dreamt about getting because supposedly there were some in packs. I don't know if they ever actually found their way into packs. And this was a card you never saw ever for sale. They were given to him, and to somebody that had the wherewithal to get one signed ahead of their time. This was always a very expensive card. You just never saw this. And to have one signed, and he signed it in a great spot. He didn't sign it on the bottom where you can't see it. He signed it across the chest, or he signed it, across the middle. And this is a card that is just, one of the most valuable cards of the 1990s. And you could go a long time without seeing any of these. And that's just a remarkable card.
Yeah, so let's talk about some bats here. Tony, I think Joe stole some of your thunder.
For me to add anything to Joe, I would be doing him a disservice. But no, he made a great point on the 2001 Albert Pujols. Rookie year, him and Ichiro came in and turned baseball upside down, basically. And he was such a consistent force for so long. Yes, Joe made a good point that, there's more bats toward the end of his career with the big autograph and game used inscription and that. But this one being from the beginning, just a great bat with great use. And he was, one of the absolute all-time greats.
Yeah, that's a great one. So let's take a quick break, and we've got a little video you're going to watch, and then we'll come back and talk about some more highlights.
Hello, this is Joe Orlando, Executive Vice President at Heritage Sports. When the question arises about which name should be included on the Mount Rushmore of the sports world, the answers from fans and collectors are often swift and decisive. Some stars become legends, but only a handful of legends become brands. From Babe Ruth to Wayne Gretzky, from Muhammad Ali to Tom Brady, this club is as exclusive as it gets. There is one name, however, that is arguably the biggest brand of all: Michael Jordan. For this reason, any high-quality collectible tied to this basketball titan garners a supreme level of interest. Heritage Auctions is proud to offer one of the finest Jordan relics ever presented to the public. This full game-worn uniform from Jordan's third championship during the 1992-93 season has been definitively photo-matched to numerous games and more, including the image used for the cover of the October 18th, 1993 edition of Sports Illustrated. Jordan is captured walking away from the camera, and the simple caption, "Why?" graces the cover. This caption represents the collective shock of fans as Jordan announced his sudden departure from the game. Of course, Jordan would return to win 3 more NBA championships after a short minor league baseball stint in the Chicago White Sox organization. At the time of this video's release, and according to the photo matching experts at MyGray and Sports Investors Authentication, no other Jordan jersey has been matched to any season during the first Chicago Bulls three-peat. This uniform, however, represents Jordan in his prime. As season collectors know, the number of home and road uniforms worn each year during that era was minuscule compared to the frequency of changes employed today. Not only is this jersey and short set rare by comparison, its state of preservation is superb. This uniform checks nearly every box imaginable for the collector seeking the finest quality. From the immense eye appeal exhibited by the classic road red style, to the evident and confirmed degree of game wear, this ensemble is for the buyer with the most discerning eye. The bidding for our May auction is live, and it ends during a 3-day span from May 16th through May 18th. Remember to get your qualifying bids in now so you can participate in the extended bidding period each night. Until next time, happy heritage hunting.
I know nobody can ever get enough of Mr. Joe Orlando, so we'll give you one more shot there. So an exciting night ahead. Tony, why don't you give us a little update from the big board?
Let me check the bid board. Sorry here. I'm watching that unbelievable Knicks game right now, the score. I'm shocked that Mike Provenzale is going to be going to the conference finals with his team. Okay,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, everybody can get excited about Knicks Pacers in the conference finals, right?
Yes. Halliburton. 1974 baseball, Topps baseball high grade complete set 3,400. Let's take a look. 58 Topps baseball high grade 4,200. 57 Topps high grade complete set 19,000. So a lot of movement on the card sets right now. 33 Gaudy Ruth and an authentic 2,900. So seeing some movement, people getting their bids in right now. And dig in, everyone, because it's always a fun time. It's always a fun time seeing the bids come in, especially during the last hour or so of the auction. So it's going to be fun.
Well, thank you to everyone for joining us. Thank you to the consigners, of course. We appreciate you, and good luck to the bidders tonight. Extended bidding for session 1 begins in about 30 minutes. Session 2 is tomorrow night. And then we've got session 3. Tony, how can people get a hold of you?
Tony G at ha.com, 214-409-1997. Give me a call. We can talk the hobby. We love doing this. And we can't thank everybody else. Can't thank everybody else enough for all that they do. As far as bidders, consigners, we're very, very fortunate at Heritage.
And you can see Tony at the Pittsburgh show this weekend. Jason.
Pittsburgh this weekend, Montreal the following weekend, and Detroit the weekend after that. Then we have a little bit of a break until the Nationals. So,
we'll also be in Edmonton the first weekend of June. Heritage will be.
Heritage will be there, yes.
And we've got Jason Simons in Miami at the Courtside show this weekend. You can reach me at Mike P. or DM us at any of our social media platforms. I run those, so happy to talk there and give appraisals. But good luck to all the bidders, and we'll see you next time.